Why, hello there, folks. Welcome to the BTS series. The Southeast Asia region continues. Right now, I'm LD. I'm joined here by GoDz. We got the Davids back in the house. We're casting, man. It's been a while.
Since TI, which feels like a while ago now.
It really does.
The Dota scene is different. Even though the new patch hasn't come yet, it's a completely different landscape.
Well, the pubs are as cancerous as always.
Yep.
That's for sure. The techies picks, the blood seekers.
I can confirm.
I have not been pubbing much lately. I'm waiting for the next match.
Yeah.
You've been on the Underminer grind, though.
Yeah, and it's been mixed results.
Yeah, you got to pick more Shrek. Well, guys, we do have a draft here underway, so we're going to hop into it in just 1 second. But before we do, let's take a look at the bracket for those of you who are wondering, where are we? We are on day number 2. So we're going to play our next 2 quarterfinals, or sorry, not quarterfinals, the round of 16 matches, and see which of the 2 teams will advance here. So it's going to be this match first, which is Satuduatiga versus Underminer, and then we're going to see Execration take on Ideal Esports. So, well, as you are probably wondering, who the hell are these teams? Well, let's find out, God. So we hop into the draft now, and we are just underway with the first couple of picks. So Satuduatiga, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. This is the Yamate stack, all Malaysian roster, and then they are facing Team Underminer, which I'm calling the FCFC stack because he's the one player I personally recognize. And so they're also all Malaysian. So we have a Malaysian showdown here today.
Oh, yeah. Potentially a bit of a in-house grudge match as far as the Malaysian squads go. I guess the new Fnatic team no longer really Malaysian squad in a lot of ways with only 3 Malaysian players. Although
I feel like Black is like a world citizen at this point. He's not really German anymore. He's a little, got a little Chinese now, maybe a little Malaysian influence.
He's played a TI under every region except Southeast Asia now. He did America this year. He at least played a TI qualifier. But last year it was China for CIS. The year before it was Europe. So he's like, okay, what region haven't I tried? Let's go SEA. So who knows if he'll still be in the team until TI 6, but I feel like that'd be a kind of cool story if you could have a player who's played in 4 different regions for 4 different TIs.
Yeah, I would agree. It could be quite the story. And let's look at our draft here. I mean, it's pretty much just stock standard, very stable, 6.84 picks. The Lina opening, this is something that wasn't really that popular before TI, I would say, but everyone just, I feel like Shiki was one of the big players that really drove this shift in terms of hero priority, just because the Lina's just so versatile. They ran it a little bit of support in the grand finals, but as a core, well, she's just disgusting. They will ban out the Huskar here. That's a little unexpected from Team Yamate.
They had the Huskar. They had Lina as well, who's obviously can buy the Acceptor to deal with the Huskar later on, but maybe just a kind of targeted ban at something that Underminer like to run. Underminer's been kind of, I would say, consistently tier 2 team within Southeast Asia, which is they kind of probably lose a bit more than they win, even against teams that kind of who are like at the top. Your Maneskis, your team like Trust, Fnatic, etc., MVP. So they pull off wins every now and then, but to me, 1, 2, 3 coming into this one's are probably pretty heavy favorites. And even with the opening 2 picks, I like that they grabbed the Lina. I feel like the Wyvern Earthshaker, it doesn't reveal too much, but normally you see a team pick up like a big X Factor hero in the first 2, and they haven't done that, although they do get Storm as their 3rd pick. So there's kind of the first little piece of the puzzle as far as what's going to really make the meat of that lineup.
Yeah, and, well, Lina does have some ability to take down a Storm Spirit. Obviously, late game, natural Hex carry, but even once you get your Yules, that Ball Lightning has a bit of a cast animation, so if you time the stun just right, and they don't counterplay it with like a fissure, you might have enough lockdown to kill him. Can steal the Ball Lightning, which is not bad, but they don't have the best lockdown for Storm, that's for sure here. And Underminer do have 2 very strong defensive supports, Slash and offlaner in the Earthshaker, depending on how they want to lane this. So we'll see. Satuduatiga now going to the Queen of Pain.
This has been a
heavy
popular
on the
hero.
nuke damage here. I guess the question is this a support Lina perchance?
It's
or are you
possible.
still thinking core?
I'm thinking core. I feel like Lina's a really good matchup against Storm in mid, so there's no real reason not to run the Lina mid. It's going to do better than anyone else there. Yeah, there's an Earthshaker roaming, but whoever you send mid could get roamed on. I guess Queen of Pain has an escape, but to me, Queen of Pain is just a beloved hero, especially in SEA, because it kind of suits their very aggressive gank and fight heavy playstyle. This patch especially is very fight heavy, but the SEA playstyle has always prioritized that even more so. And Queen of Pain very versatile because these teams are running at safe lane, mid, off lane. We saw like 3 or 4 Queen of Pains yesterday come out, and we're seeing a mixer of builds. We're seeing Yule Scepters, we're seeing Blade Mails, we're seeing all kinds of new stuff come out from Queen of Pain players.
Shadow Fiend now the pick up by Underminer, so they get a good mix here of the physical and magical damage on both of their cores. And as seems to be I think the biggest thing this patch is that cores that farm stacks and supports to a lesser extent are just such high priority here. Your Radiant, you've got 2 heroes that can go into the jungle. Earthshaker, Wyvern could definitely use that experience in lane. And we could see Underminer play that more greedy kind of economy-focused game here, it feels like.
This makes a lot more sense with the Storm pick now, because I feel like picking Storm into Lina mid is not really the best matchup, but they probably were already planning on sending the Storm to the safe lane when they picked it third, said, well, we'll take the Storm now, get the Shadow Fiend fourth, since they don't expect Team 123 to take Shadow Fiend unless they are running Lina's support. No one outside of really VP runs the safe lane farming Lina, so...
What are you thinking for Satuduatiga here? If that's a core Lina, then they need a support and an offlaner, or maybe Quap goes to the offlane.
Well, Axe
there's
comes
your
out.
offlaner.
Yeah, they needed some initiation, which is also just a way of locking down the Storm, keeping him in place so they can blow him up. The Lina with a Yule Scepter LSA can set things up, but that's often going to be counterplayed by an Earthshaker, so you need that secondary catch and pick off potential, which Axe can provide.
And they've got a good way to interrupt the Requiem here as well. You have the BKB piercing call. Tough to get that thing off. Maybe they can cancel his blink and prevent him from jumping the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I see Axe actually gets picked a surprisingly high amount against Shadow Fiends because of the ability to cancel BKB Requiems. And
I know it was something that the analysts talked about at TI, was the Wyvern being a good counter to Shadow Fiend, because you can always just curse him.
You have to throw like you have to throw a very high cooldown ultimate, which you want to maybe save for like a big play where you get kills off of it. And if you're just canceling a Requiem, it's like, well, it's nice, but you may not get any kills in SF. And after it wears off, he may not get off a Requiem, but he can throw razors and still do damage. So I like the Axe better than that.
Axe.
Yeah. I feel Axe is really good here. Great against the Shadow Fiend. Nice and tanky when he goes in with the blink call. He doesn't just become paper against the Shadow Fiend minus armor. There's no real physical damage coming from the other 3 heroes right now.
And they got a lot of burst damage. GoDz, the Laguna, the Queen of Pain ult, Scream is good burst. He now got the chop.
And Underminer have no burst damage. That to me is a big issue for them. I mean, Queen of Pain, Lina, kind of fairly squishy heroes, but when Axe blinks in, there's no real easy way to just punish Axe for being aggressive. Well, all they can do is just counter-initiate with a Fissure and then run the hell away. It's not really counter-initiating, it's Fissure and run away, because their damage output doesn't exist right now.
All right, well, let's see if they can resolve that. They've got one more pick here. It's a support or an offlaner, GoDz.
I feel like they almost need a support with some like high damage output, like a Witch Doctor or something, because to me, offlaners are much more focused around like the crowd control, offering lockdown, being an initiator like a Clockwork, and that doesn't give you any more damage. They need Earthshaker like in the offlane and get something like a Witch Doctor or...
Yeah, and Earthshaker does not... I mean, I guess he could be that roaming support hero maybe, but then you're giving this Axe a lot of freedom in the safe, or the offlane potentially.
Yeah, unless you want to go for something like kind of unconventional, like a Timbersaw in the offlane, which can give them some much-needed damage. I feel like most likely this will be offlane Earthshaker, though.
Oh, that could have been nice. The Vacuum into Fissure combo, we saw that from, was it C-Deck or LGD? Yeah. I think it was one of them at TI.
Wyvern Curse as well with a Vacuum.
Yeah, Vacuum, Fissure, instant Curse, like Requiem lined up all the while. Yep. Scary, scary combo.
So, last pick's coming out now. So, Underminer... I'm expecting the Earthshaker offlane. We'll see if that's what they have in mind.
And you mentioned the Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
Anything else? Pretty good zoning support as well versus the Axe.
Dazzle's another option. They could just kind of look to stack more minus armor.
Actually, we've talked about it on our cast before. Dazzle can be very good against Axe. Especially if he's looking to creep cut.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's looking to creep cut this
They
game,
go Phoenix, so more team fight. They're going very heavy on the team fight here. Does give them bit of more damage output, and to me, I think they're just saying, look, we don't have the best burst damage, but you guys can't take a team fight because we've got all the big spells, Fissure, Winter's Curse, and Supernova, Requiem.
It does look like a game where they may struggle a bit to zone the Phoenix. Rubik, not the best zoning support. I guess if it's the Rubik-Lina duo.
It's maybe just like last pick decent. Silencer or something.
Oh, that would be great against the Storm. I love a Silencer pick here, actually.
I mean, another way of canceling a BKB Requiem if you want, if you hold the silence still after the BKB.
Or you just global, Axe just jumps on the Storm, and he's dead. There's no way to save him. But
they take Witch Doctor.
They'll go for the more stable pick here. They get the Witch Doctor.
Silencers are really greedy because he's not got any real TP rotation capabilities. It's one of those heroes when you're playing him in a support role and you're in the safe lane, you're just waiting for the day your carry leaves the lane to go ganking so you can just take over the lane and farm a Midas, because that hero just doesn't gank, and it does kind of force you to play a very passive style, which is probably not what Team 123 want to do here, especially when they're against a lineup which is not really they're very 5-man teamfight oriented, so they're going to want to just kind of gank and split the map and create chaos as much as possible.
All right, gods. Well, it's time. We're ready. We're getting underway here. Game 1 of a best-of-3 showdown between... For some reason, I keep on wanting to say STD, even though it's SDT.
Team STD.
We were wondering. I'm not sure if anyone who's watching knows. Does that mean 1, 2, 3 in Malay or something? Or we were just curious because I have no idea.
Well, that's their team name, but they tag up as 1, 2, 3, not SDT. So
yeah, I wonder if it translates to 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure. But I'm just going to call them STD and really offend their fans. No, I won't do that. Okay, so this is game 1, guys. Best of 3. Winner will be moving along into the quarterfinals. The losing team is eliminated. We've got a very concise format here in the BTS series. Each cup, just single limb, no bullshit. You know, you win a couple matches, you get in the money, you're happy. Yeah, we don't want to waste the team's time, and we want every match to be packed with meaning. Yeah,
all it takes is 2 wins and you're in the money. You're guaranteed, I think, $1,000 for 3rd/4th place. So 2 best of 3s and yeah, $1,000 for your team. So not too bad for some of these teams, especially in Southeast Asia where there's not many tournaments, and the tournaments that are there are for like $1,000 total prize pool across like 2 or 3 months. So having $1,000 from 2 best of 3s is pretty nice across just
and the money goes farther in most of the countries. Singapore probably the one exception where it might not even go as far as some Western countries. But all right, enough about the money. Let's talk about the Dota. Underminer on the Radiant side. We will have 1, 2, 3 Dire for now. Looks like they're going to congregate towards the bottom rune. Ward's getting plopped down. Radiant team is scouted out here. God's really nice ward. They got this one down quickly. And
Dire's
they
level
look
1
to fight this.
Level 1 fight for Dire is not too fantastic here, I feel. They've got Cast, Lina, LSA, but
30 seconds to battle.
I don't really feel like they want to maybe fight here when Underminer could have a high ground advantage. So we'll see. Fissure is just so good in this level 1 fight. Not to mention Arctic Burn can catch 2 or 3 heroes. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 have already... Yeah, they're going top. This is not a fight they want to take. And
yeah, they're going to play this one safe. Maybe a bit of harassment play from What? But he's not likely to go in as he sees the Shadow Fiend rumble. They've already got eyes on, I think, 4 at this point, so they'll just take their free bounty on top. And Cloud will get off to a hot start here. Looks like he will be rushing the bottle. It will be the Shadow Fiend mid, and that will put Bakri onto the safe lane Storm. So they do have 2 pretty strong laning cores here, both ranged, both decent harassers.
Yeah. Interesting kind of Dire warding. They TP'd the Witch Doctor level 1, and they have this ward. Doesn't give vision of the rune, though. You could put that a bit further to the north and still get vision of the rune and the pathway that he's checking out here, but both teams going for the mid-high ground ward, which is something you normally see a bit later on, but going for it at level 1 really shows that both teams are prioritizing this mid lane over everything else.
Yeah, and it looks like 1, 2, 3 gods. They're going to run the dual lane bottom here. Witch Doctor Axe. Don't see that many Axe picks nowadays, but it feels like a pretty aggressive lane.
Yeah, Storm, one of the better heroes at handling this. He's got high base armor, which is really good against the physical damage of counter Helix, not to mention a melee damage nuke. Static Remnant, you just pop it down if Axe comes at you, and as a result, Axe has actually gone for a level 1 in Battle Hunger, so I think recognizing he can't just go up to Storm and expect to be able to get spins off if he's going to take a lot of damage.
Storm, pretty good last hitter. Not easy to stop the CS train.
Yeah.
So far, the Battle Hunger not getting a whole lot done.
They've got the right kind of approach. It's harass the Wyvern out of the lane to make it so Storm's kind of on his own. Wyvern only had 2 tangos, so they can look to bully him while the Storm then gets kind of left alone. So that's when you can go in for the counter Helix. If Wyvern's not there to use Arctic Burn and to trade hits, suddenly you've got kind of a 2v1 advantage.
So let's look at the one lane we haven't talked about yet, this top lane.
There is no top lane for Underminer, apparently.
What do you make of this? Is there any way for him to get in here? Is it just too dangerous against the Queen of Pain Rubik?
Rubik is actually, like I talked about Silencer, but Rubik does kind of the same thing. You can actually insta-cancel dive if you've got really fast fingers, so... I think as a result, he just doesn't want to go for the lane.
Meanwhile, Yamate finds the kill mid solo on the Shadow Fiend. The Earthshaker was there. It looks like, is it Jenny? Didn't even get into position in time. He was even rotating. They basically had a tri-lane mid about to happen, but too late. Lina gets the job done solo. Space created by the wily old veteran Yamate.
This is where it's exciting. Seeing Mushi and Yamate playing against SEA. Mushi did the same thing yesterday, where he got solo kills 2 games in a row on a Lina, on a, like mid heroes. Yamate's just done the same thing. These guys are just mid lane dominators.
Off to a hot start, and my camera work not quite so much. Little rusty. You know, it's been a couple weeks. Let the flames and chat commence, but we'll pull it together here as the cast goes along.
What's the Twitch emote for that one when casters miss kill?
Which is the one that you said you hate? Was it you who said? Oh, no, it's Toby. Toby said he hates when people type failfish in chat when he's casting.
Okay.
So I think that's probably a T-Tours or a fail.
Oh, T-Tours is the one.
But guys, if you want to upset good old Tobers, then just failfish whenever he says anything. Just failfish no matter what.
Yeah.
It'll piss him off.
He says something right. Toby, please failfish.
The better the casting, the more you need to failfish it.
I think he's casting some SEA data right now, so go throw some failfishes at him as we speak.
Spam the join Dota chat with failfish. Everybody, now. Go forth, our faithful minions.
But be sure to come back and watch some Yamate Dota, of course.
Don't actually watch the stream, just the chat. All right, back to the game. So, let's see. Queen of Pain, actually, all three cores here on the dire side, guys, they're farming quite well early on. Whereas we see for Underminer not getting a whole lot here. Cloud only 9 CS. Yamate just constantly pummeling him in this mid lane, and he's just got to play defense for now, it seems.
Yeah, at this point, 1, 2, 3 are dominating 2 of the lanes in mid and top, and then the off lane, they're getting plenty on the axe. 12 CS, he's got Tranquils, level 3.5. He's contesting the lane. He's doing what like an offlaner looks to do, and this is a big advantage going the dire side's way here, even just in the early game. So for Underminer, Phoenix needs experience. Like, he can't just be... He's going to sit around, look to secure runes, make sure Lina doesn't get anything like a haste or an invis, and makes plays off of that. But at some point, Phoenix needs to get experience, and it doesn't seem like that's going to come top. It's going to be a level 6 Queen of Pain in no time at all, and Phoenix is just going to wait for the Queen of Pain to leave the lane or take over some other lane, but you can't really take over mid. Shadow Fiend's going to be looking to stay here for some time with this poor start he's had, and that's where this Phoenix is really hoping that top lane pushes out, which it's kind of starting to do, but not for long. This will just get him level 2, if anything.
And that Laguna Blade is online for Yamate. So you mentioned the 2 big damage dealers, one already cracking level 6, the other not too far off. As the cast will go about him, it bounces between boys, and Bakri Anwar, decent damage from the Battle Hunger, which is still only level 1. Hasn't opted to level it up, but it is going to force the Wyvern back a bit. Still only level 2 here. And that it still seemed to be the thing. The Radiant support squads, they're not getting as much experience. Yamate, there's the Laguna from downtown. He finds him with the last plink of an auto attack. And we'll see here. Phoenix rushing in, trying to bring him down as well. The magic stick charges should be enough to keep him alive.
Level 1 fire spirits do no damage whatsoever. There was, Yamate's sitting on 200 HP still, even with the magic charge. And the scary thing is, he's scouted out these stacks. There's a triple stack waiting in the Radiant jungle. If he can get himself in there, he can easily steal that with level 7 right now. So I feel like a big thing for Underminer is just farming this ASAP. And I think with the Illusions scouting out the stacks, Cloud is probably just going to look to farm it right away rather than stack some more, because Lina getting this would just be game over. And yeah, Cloud
just immediately abandoned and just see ya.
Yeah, he's going to farm it now. Normally SF would probably stack it once or twice more, get a bit more out of the mid lane, but this kind of solves 2 problems. Lina doesn't get the chance to steal the stacks. Phoenix also gets some XP in the mid lane, so at least hits level 3 now. It's still, you're looking to salvage a really bad situation right now, and it's only starting to kind of cover and prevent the bleeding.
And Yamate keeps the pressure up here. Meanwhile, top lane also being pushed by Ben and Minerva. And Minerva just quietly getting his farm here. Level 4, almost a full level up on FCFC. We will see Cloud ramble down and secure himself a double damage rune. Could come in handy here. So far, guys, it feels like Underminer is very much just playing defense. Do you see something that's going to open up the map for them a bit, or do they need to just sit back?
The heroes at this point are just going to be defensive. You've got Winter Wyvern, Earthshaker. There's no real playmaking capabilities. Bottom lane, though, Storm in some trouble. They get the call up with the creep wave.
Beautiful call, and now he's kept alive for the Wyvern. The spin's doing no damage during this time as Bakri will turn Queen of Pain over the top. Ben connects for a quick double as Yamate will swing through. And they're still looking to dive here. Looks like they may even try to steal the stacks. Yamate is a bit too late for that. But what is on the hunt? FCFC, where are you going, my friend? Ben's going to stop to farm the tower a little bit. He gets off the fissure. It's onto it. Does trap one in. He's going to try to eat his way out. Another tree eat, and they need to eat 2 more. He won't make it out in time, but the Wyvern is just so afraid to go in.
I'm about to say,
it doesn't even matter.
That was a brave TP from Wyvern. They almost could have just gone for another kill if they wanted to. That was a great rotation from Queen of Pain, and that's what we've been seeing kind of during and since TI5, is that these safe lane carries are looking for the earliest opportunity to rotate, and the only downside to that is Phoenix gets a bit more experience, but you've already dominated this Phoenix so hard, and it gives Rubik the solo XP towards level 6, so easily worth it. Getting the 2 kills bottom lane, great awareness from Queen of Pain to rotate in there, and this awkward timing for Ben is going to be so impressive. He's already got the first Oblivion staff with Treads, so this is going to really shut down the Storm and Phoenix once he gets that online.
Even, in fact, it feels like it might shut down pretty much all these heroes. Maybe not the Shadow Fiend, but you've got a very spell-dependent pair of supports, the Wyvern, the Shaker, and, well, if you're not able to get those off, it's almost like having the Global Silence in a way. You just, it just comes from your Queen of Pain. It keeps those defensive supports from getting anything done. 8-minute rune about to spawn out. They're just going to fissure away Yamate. Very defensive and reactionary play. It does seem 1-2-3 is feeling a bit outgunned right now. I'll grab a haster in bottom. That'll be going to 3-4-3. And he'll just sprint away.
Yep.
Kind of chilling.
Yamate would have liked that, but not going to happen for now. He smokes up, though. So this is, I think Yamate's saying, well, they're kind of protecting the mid lane. I want to get out of here, but you can't just run down river as a Lina and expect not to be spotted. So he smokes through, and he's looking for either Storm or the Wyvern here. And Storm is level 6, so it may just be the Wyvern that they take if they don't feel like they can get the chain stun on Storm.
Boys. Oh, smoke gonna break. He has scouted them out, but the cast comes through. Follow-up stuns there. Laguna with a slave. It is enough. In the end, he hits both. They chase onto Bakri, who's just hit level 6. He's gonna be forced to zip away. So is the Bottle and Soul Ring. A bit of regen at his disposal. Well, top lane, Ben just getting aggressive here. There's no egg just yet. And he does have that Sonic Wave at the ready, along with a level 4 Scream. Maybe thinking about a jump here on Jenny. Should he push out a bit farther.
Yeah, just be very careful on the Phoenix here at top. And Ben will be either looking for a TP rotation or a solo kill at top. Unlikely you get that solo kill unless Phoenix steps up, but you're going to just linger around this top lane as long as possible until you kind of find that opening somewhere else on the map which your team can create. Likely at the bottom lane, since that seems to be where they're being really aggressive on the team 1-2-3 side.
Now, the 3 next items are Unbound Gods. It's the Blink on the Axe, about 700 gold short or so at this point. Your Lina Yule Scepter, both of the big components already snapped up, and you already mentioned the Oblivion Staff #1 is complete. The second one under construction here. They're going to have a nice timing. Score 6-0, now leading by 4,000 gold, 2,000 experience. Feels like this one could get quickly out of hand for Underminer if they're not careful.
Oh yeah, and there's still more stacks to favor Team 1-2-3. Yamate's going to find himself a couple more here in his own jungle, and with that, that's the end of it. That's the end of his Yule Scepter. So he'll have it. He'll go look to probably even smoke up again with someone like the Rubik. Rubik's got one already and hits level 6. So this is a really scary timing window for Lina as well as Rubik to get active on the map. Maybe just let the Queen of Pain farm up the Orchid. But they probably gank towards bottom because you get kills around the Axe, then Axe suddenly finishes his Blink Dagger. So I feel like this bottom lane is the place to take over if you're Team 1-2-3. Not to mention, taking the bottom tier 1 tower is really important for the Dire side because it just gives you complete control over the Radiant jungle. You can take over, control the farm there, get great vision, which they've already even really got there with the Observer Ward, but strategically, suddenly Undermine are going to have very little room to breathe if they lose their jungle.
And with the ward already deep in their territory, should that tower fall, it feels like they will really have just a full Nelson lock on this woods, but not quite there yet. Axe is very close to the blink now, only 300 gold away. As they have rotated 2 heroes down. Both supports in position. Minerva cracking that level 6. And Queen of Pain, second Oblivion Staff. Well, he's got the Quarterstaff, although it looks like he ended up buying it back home, so he won't have it in his inventory. But they are congregating gods, and it really feels like they want to make a play here on Bakri.
Yep. Well, Bakri needs to be careful. It's hard to get that kind of good initiation and bring down a Storm who's got Ball Lightning until you have got the Axe Blink, so... Or the Lina comes with the Yule Scepter, which is the other possibility, but... Lina for now just going to keep pressuring mid. You keep nuking out the waves, and you can't really defend this on your own too easily, because if Lina catches you with the Yules and you're the Winter Wyvern, you just instantly die, so you have to be very careful about how you play this mid-tier 1 tower defense.
Smoke number 2, Yamate and Minerva again on the prowl, and it seems they're heading down towards the river. About to be the 12-minute rune. Do they wait for that? No, he's going to clarity up, continues charging forward. No vision on anybody off in the woods, so they'll swing towards the lane here, setting up on the Storm potentially. This Yule's going to make it tricky. We'll have
Fissure has to be perfect. Yeah, this is...
they're waiting. They're waiting.
Oh, they've got the Axe Blink too, so he's going to Fissure the Axe probably, and that means Yamate will just get a great...
He's going to start with the Yule Scepter. Call not coming out just yet. The Fissures on the other 2. The Call's off the mark. Beautiful jump away from Bakri. He will end up escaping. Just not quite timed perfectly by what?
Yeah.
A very good defensive Fissure to bail him out.
Absolutely. I think the Yules gave them too much time to react. I think they should have led with the Blink Call and then just Yamate combo him, because Blink Call with a combo, I don't think Earthshaker can respond unless he's just insane prediction skills, but without wards, they've already been dewarded, so they don't see that coming. I think you get the kill in the Storm there, but easy to say in hindsight. And from their point of view, they don't expect the Earthshaker to already be in position to counter gank it.
They're going to try to counter-initiate here, jumping onto Yamate, who has the Yule Scepter still available along with yet another S4 rune as they ball back and forth, trying to hold What and force him to take this Phoenix nuke damage, but it won't end up happening. Boys into the trees. Now another dive forward. Again gets the Fire Spirits out. Not quite enough damage. Even Shadow Fiend joining the fray. The lone here that's not, as What nearly ticks down. Ooh, close, but it'll be healed up by 343. He blinks away. The man who chose not to join the fight, though, is Ben, and he is just free farming top. They forced the 5-hero rotation gods, and all the while, that Orchid getting closer and closer.
I think he would have TP'd instantly if he had his scroll up, but it was on cooldown, so if he could TP down there, I think 1-2-3 looked to try and turn and re-engage using the Yule Scepter after they survived, but that was like Underminer throwing everything and not getting a kill out of it. That was a bit... That was really the fight where they were hoping to kill off Lina, especially, with that kind of initiation from the Storm Spirit with the Fissure, but not finding anything with a 5-hero commitment is worrisome. They've got the mech on Shadow Fiend. They're kind of going to group up and look to siege this bottom tier 1 tower a bit, but I feel like 1-2-3 can easily make a play to defend this, especially with the Orchid.
Cheeky positioning here from 3-4-3. They do spot Jenny. I'm not actually sure if it is Jenny, but it's just easier for me to say. As JNY continues to move towards the bottom side of the map. So they still 5-man their own woods. 1-2-3 taking full advantage of it. They finally find 3-4-3. He's been hiding out in the tree line. A bit of a sneaky witch doctor, but he won't find the opening. Man, these wards, gods, look at the dire vision. One of them expires right as I say it, but they just see everything.
I think Underminer kind of recognizing that if they lose a fight at bottom lane, lose this tier 1 tower, that's when they get snowballed on. Right now, it's still a 5,000 gold deficit, but they feel like this is the one real timing they have to make a stand and try and turn this game around in their favor. And if they lose this, it could very quickly be the end of this game. But if they manage to make a good hold, they almost had a good fight last time. They have got all their ultis back up. Then they can have a good fight.
Here, Bakri trying to bait something out, and now Cloud engages. The Fissure's there. He doesn't get the initiation off the bat. Then they burst him down, and the egg's available again. This will force the other 3 back, and on the side of the fight is Ben. Looks like he should be able to blink out, so they lose 1. They force out the egg. Yeah. But again, Underminer finding the kill, and that's the Shadow Fiend Ogre Club. 400 gold banked. He already has the mech. And Storm Spirit, well, at least he doesn't die. A nice fight there. Underminer, they end the shutout. They finally get a kill on the board here at 15 minutes.
They're playing this bottom lane defense really well. They're just kind of chipping away at 1-2-3. They're not going for an all-out team fight, although
mid lane, Yamate looking for the plays. The mech comes out. It's not enough. Cloud will die. I think he may have actually mech before any of the damage hit him there.
Yeah, I think so
Ends
too.
Up dying. Not sure how he could have played it differently. So much damage.
Yeah, it's hard. If you've got that tiny window when you land from Yules where you can use your stick or your mech, but you're full HP. So if you let him stun you, suddenly you get comboed before you get to use the mech. And I don't think there was a play to make there for Shadow Fiend. If he was on String Threads, I think he would have been okay, and he could have saved the mech till after the combo.
And that was the level 2 Laguna as well. I believe he already had it. So.
Yes, that's right. So.
Judging by how much time is left on the cooldown. So maybe if it's level 1, he could have held the mech, but that's just a very fat Lina early on. And as you mentioned map control, we do see this bottom tower falling now as 1-2-3. They've already taken down the top tower. Queen of Pain claimed that earlier. And now moving in onto Bakri with the Orchid. Will find a solo kill. Ben making plays here along with Yamate. These 2 cores are just getting out of hand.
Yeah, they're executing really solidly whenever they need to. The individual plays has been absolutely perfect from 1-2-3, and the overall strategy has been good. I think Underminer have kind of reacted to it well, especially towards that bottom lane area, but the main problem now for Underminer is that just they haven't been able to find the farm. They've been putting so much time and effort into defending that bottom lane and preventing 1-2-3 from getting that tower at the time they wanted to, so they've kind of kept control of their jungle, but as a result, you've got everyone, apart from the Shadow Fiend, really under farm right now.
Another haste rune. This is 4 for 1-2-3, 2 for the Witch Doctor, 2 for Yamate. And with this, he's now on the way to his Aghanim Scepter. Gets the point booster up. Bakri, TPing in top lane, and gods, he's gone for the Staff of Wizardry here. I think seems like more of a utility build. Our Storm is just not getting his items.
Yeah, I think he's just got to get the Yule Scepter to deal with the Orchid at this point. Especially when you're behind, you just sometimes have to commit for that counter item in the Yules and go from there. Then you go back towards the Bloodstone and assuming things go alright, because otherwise you're just going to end up feeding time and time again to Queen of Pain. Being able to actually farm a lane by yourself and not get solo killed is very important for a Storm in a game like this, because no one on his team is farming. He needs to be the one like solo pushing out lanes, and he can't do that if he's going to get solo killed by Queen of Pain.
She has been a threat, and Ben now picks up the Ogre Club.
Yeah.
Getting even tankier. Seems the BKB.
Also stops you
could
getting...
be coming out next.
Yeah, also stops you getting solo killed by the Lina. If Lina uses you, you can counter
There's your
yours.
curse, though. They make a jump onto Ben mid lane, and they focus him down. You betcha! Underminer with the massive 5-hero dive. Now chasing for what? They have the egg available to point it immediately to force what a bit farther back. The tower's not that low. They're looking to focus the egg down. Will they get it off? Yes, barely in the nick of time. It does not crash, but the echo comes out from FCFC, securing an additional kill. Still a 2-for-1 for Underminer. And what looks to go back in? He's going to call. He only gets the storm. Actually, FCFC was also caught. Instantly bursts down. 2 heroes end up falling on each side. In the end, the tower is claimed by the Wyverns.
Really great start to the fight, just recognizing that they can kill the Queen of Pain that quickly, and they get a T1 tower, 2 for 2, that heavily favors Underminer. They get about a 1,000 gold change in their favor, and that's easily worth it for them. They don't mind. Losing the Phoenix, the Earthshaker at this point is not really too big of a deal for them. It does give Lina another kill, and Yamate not actually going to go for the axe, decides to go for what we're seeing a bit of is the Bloodstone build, just because of how strong this item is. And how tanky it makes you as a Lina, so...
Yeah, no Ags, like you said. Shadow Fiend BKB is coming soon. So it looks like he's not afraid of that. But there will be some magic immunity in play here.
Yeah, he'll likely go back for it after the Bloodstone. I guess it's the mentality behind this is you want to start racking up the Bloodstone charges as early as possible so you can use the kind of low respawn later on to your advantage if you really snowball. It's more of a snowball item. And then if you're snowballing, you get your Ags so fast that Shadow Fiend only has maybe 3 to 4 minutes where he's got BKB before you have your Ag Scepter. And
any chance of throwing something, a little bit of a curveball at you? Just an Octarine Rush? Was that ridiculous?
On the old Lina?
Yeah.
It's not ridiculous. It's a fun item.
Looks like he's going to tick down here to the Soulburn. No, he barely survives through it. Whew, he could heal himself. He's just going to waddle away. And oh, Shadow Fiend almost denied him.
You've got a mech. Why would you deny him?
Mid-swing on the team KO, but just not quick enough. We may have an Arteezy Riki situation on our hands here, gods.
Do I mech you? Nah, I deny.
Somebody report these guys.
That would have been a cloudy
That would have been
fight.
a BTS moment. I'm actually so sad that he didn't get that tonight.
Oh. He knew what it was. I think it was just scaring his teammates. You know?
What a dick. All right, well.
The night? Yeah.
Hey, buddy, I got something for you. Special delivery. All right, well, it didn't happen in the end. So when the dust settles, they have the good fight mid. They also got the tower, which we mentioned very briefly. So a little bit of map control back for Underminer. What's the next step here, gods? I'm going to ask you about 1, 2, 3, because they seem to still be in the driver's seat. Do they go for kills here? Are they trying to sneak a Roshan? Do you just play like a farm game? What's the best approach for this type of lineup?
Roshan's not really on the cards without physical damage, no medallions, so I think it's going to be more about getting map control. They may look to pick up a gem on someone like Rubik rather than go for the Blink Dagger just so they can deward the whole map. And Witch Doctor farming a mech suggests they just want to be able to fight what should be the stronger team fight of Underminer with their own team fight, because they're going to have a Lina with 16 to 2000 HP, which means she's just so tanky, and the rest of the team have all these utility items. The Blink Axe with a Vanguard, he's tanky. A mech on Rubik, a mech on Witch Doctor, which means they can actually win a team fight despite having the weaker lineup.
JNY, hello, Yamate, and goodbye. It's just gunned down, and it will be the Bloodstone now, it looks like. Soul Rain and the Recipe both picked up. Yamate, well, he used to be called the Y God, gods. As of late, I mean, maybe Yafitz would argue for that title, but then, of course, he kind of took a step back from Dota. But he's back in the driver's seat here, and I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen Yamate dominate, to be honest.
Yeah. Even, like, the TIs where he was playing carry a bit, playing mid, it was never the Yamate of old, where back in the Dota 1 days, where this was just the most feared player to kind of go up against in the mid lane.
Even more so than, like, Mushi was. And this was, back then, Yamate was the guy.
Mushi kind of took over when Dota 2 kind of came out, but
I still want to see a 1v1 grudge match between those two after the little spat they had. I'm not sure if that's water under the bridge or if there's still a little salt there, but unfortunately haven't had one yet. Maybe we need to bring back Fistful of Tango.
Apparently Mushi was wanted to play with Yamate for their TI team, but it didn't end up happening. So they were kind of willing to be on a team together. It was talked about. It was not. Okay. It was very much like, for the sake of Malaysian Dota, we gotta stick together.
Put our differences aside. Yeah. This is bigger than us.
Absolutely.
Because Yamate, just looking for Jenny here. I can't quite find him or her. I'm not sure. Either way, unsuccessful. But they're gonna pincer this. Moving Ben into position. He's got the Orchid at the ready. He just needs the silence, and this should be a takedown. They're going to lean a nuke. Ben creeping in. Now revealed. He gets off the silence. Follows up with the one. 2 more auto techs. He gets him. And will earn himself, but not nearly quick enough. And all the while, they hold this bottom lane. Meanwhile, though, there might be a jump in. Bakri's waiting for it. The Fissure's there. The ball forward. Looking for the Witch Duct ult to counter initiate. It's doing heavy damage to Bakri's. Force back the curse on 2. Yamate and 343 just plinking away at what? Can't quite get him. Everybody will back off in the end.
Oh, and Boy's in some trouble here. If he can't get this TP out, it's just come up. Okay.
What?
I
the
think
timing when he pokes around the trees just at the right time, and nobody really.
It's one of those things where 1, 2, 3 just assume he TP'd out instantly. So they're like, okay, let's not go searching for him because he insta TP'd. But little did they know he was still there. But
helps that it's nighttime and that nobody was past the tree line at that point. They'd all run forward into the lane.
The problem there for Underminer is the Shadow Fiend TPing top as a response to the Phoenix meant he wasn't bottom lane. They needed his damage output to kill the Axe there. Needed the double raise at least. And as a result, they kind of don't get anything out of their bottom lane. Like, you see 2 heroes top, if you're Underminer, you immediately want to get a pick off and jump in the bottom lane. But they needed 4 heroes, and Shadow Fiend TPing kind of ruined that for them. But you can kind of understand. He's like, okay, I can maybe get a counter kill. I can maybe save him with a mech, but unfortunately for Underminer, that's going to work against them now, and they are getting further and further behind.
Yeah, they really feel like they're being squeezed here. I keep on going back to the Dire Vision gods. It's only getting better as the game moves along. They got both D-Pill wards up. Nothing dewarded by Underminer. Haven't always seen these lead directly into kills, but it's giving them such freedom around the map.
Yeah. They're just taking tier 2 towers with a couple heroes. You've got a Queen of Pain with a Rubik backing her up, taking a tier 2 bottom lane. Top lane, the tier 2 is being pressured by a solo Lina with a Queen of Pain backup. So it's like 2 heroes pressuring super deep on the map and no way to punish them. That's really the scary thing right now for 1, 2, 3 is that they're being so efficient. They're out-farming their opponents while getting pickoffs and kills.
They try to jump in on what, but he's quick on the trigger finger. We'll make it back in now. Looks to engage under this. The Blink Dagger is cooling down for a bit, though. But they set up with the Yule Scepter on the Shadow Fiend, prompting the BKB, or rather prompting it, I should say. And they're just going to back off. So BKB blown and Underminer in a headlong retreat, but do they make it out here? Yamate's rushing in. He's got the move speed. No Yules for 12 seconds. 8 seconds now. Just throws out the Laguna immediately on full HP boys. They look to counter this with the egg and the Earthshaker Echo Slam, but the Death Port's going the whole while. Plinking on the Cloud. The kaboom from the egg. Is it enough? They steal the dive now. Requiem does come off. Double raise. He gets him. The Death Bomb from the Requiem. Makes it a 3 for 3. Not too shabby, though. They look for more. Jenny, Scream will end him. It's an Ultra for Ben. It might be the teamwork. Did they get the call? Oh, just short. Just short. But in the end, a 4 for 3, a bloody massacre, top gods.
Yeah. And Lina got this Bloodstone deny, so that was not even money going Underminer's way.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, not the smoothest fight for 1, 2, 3. They just went kind of diving in, just balls to the wall for like, we're so far ahead. We're going to win this fight even if it doesn't go great. And it didn't go great for them. It felt like Lina just got a bit too aggressive. The Supernova was absolutely perfect, but it goes back to the draft a bit. It talked about the last pick for Undermine. It really felt like they lacked damage. They don't have any way to finish off some of these kills. And the Storm, especially with the build he's been forced to go, it's going to be some time before he can become a big threat in these team fights. The real big problem for the Storm is he's the initiator as well as a big source of damage. So if he's leading the fight with a zip-in, it means he's the one who has to then use mana defensively to get out. He has to be very cautious with his positioning. So he never really has the ability to finish heroes off because he uses most of his mana to engage. You don't really want to Storm in a position where he's the initiator and also required to be like the cleanup, because he can only really do one or the other.
And especially when they've got such good lockdown. They've got the instant lift, the call, the Yule setup, no BKB out on Storm. I guess he can Yules himself, but if Lina's patient, that doesn't even really protect him. The question is, they went for Phoenix, and it's not really the most standard offlaner, especially with this composition. Do you think something different that has more control and can be your initiator would be making a difference here, or do you feel like it's more just the outplaying of 1, 2, 3?
I think the Earthshaker as an offlaner maybe would have been a bit better. FC, or whoever's the offlane player could have a lot more farm and levels on the Earthshaker, would probably have a blink by now. And that, not really necessarily as an initiator, because you don't necessarily start the fight off with the Echo Slam, but it just gives you some good follow-up damage to the Storm who may go balling in. So, and it could have just freed up that 4 position slot to pick something other than the Earthshaker with a bit more damage and a bit more threatening. Because this Earthshaker right now is not a hero that 123 have to do anything about in a team fight. FC just throws a fissure from behind, and that's his team fight contribution. Like
he got off an Echo there, but it's level 1. I think it hit 2 heroes and maybe 2 or 3 creeps. It wasn't the fight changer.
It's never
was not your Universe TI5 Echo.
No.
That's for sure.
It's never really going to be a huge threat until he gets level 2 ulti and a Blink Dagger, it feels like. Any Echo who can just walk into is probably just an Echo that 123 say, oh, you can have that because it's not going to win you the fight.
Well, maybe it comes down to the curse of boys. And you get a really good one here that turns Yamate against his comrades. That could help. The Fissure to start it off on Ben. Now they curse him, but the turnaround comes quickly. Laguna out and Bakri down for the count. Yamate at full HP as the Death War pounds into Cloud. There goes the Cask as well. The Phoenix Egg doesn't do a whole hell of a lot. Storm down. FCFC roars in. Immediately gets punished. And then the Quap ult on the Cloud. Just plastered by Lina auto attacks. They steal the raise. They'll kill him with it. It's a humiliation takedown as they hunt for boys. He worms through the trees. He'll flap himself away. Losing 2 cores, GoDz blowing everything. Yamate just not even scratched in the fight.
Yeah. This is still the Ag Scepter as well, so once they have that, the SF will struggle even more in these team fights to deal with him. The Queen of Pain did end up dying to the SF dying Requiem, but that's just like a small consolation prize for Underminer, who are in a lot of trouble now.
It really goes to your point about lack of damage. Last fight, they got a double Requiem off. The initial Requiem, then the Death Requiem. He's full souls. That's about as much damage as you're ever going to get from Shadow Fiend. He hit 3 raises. They got off the egg as well, and it just didn't matter. 1, 2, 3 are just too tanky.
That's the big thing here, where that's like 80% of their damage in a team fight, it feels like. The Earthshaker comes in, helps secure like a support kill at the end with an Echo Slam, but it's like he has to pay for his life for it anyway. So Earthshaker's like, well, I'll run in suicide, kill a support, and die in the process. It's not really a big win for them. The only win they can get is if they get that insta-pick-off on Quap, who didn't even die during the Winter's Curse. They committed everything to that Quap. Quap BKBs blinks away and even gets to come back in for a Sonic Wave, which helps bring down the Shadow Fiend. So that was really the biggest issue for Underminer.
Did not work out. And now they do have the medallion. Yamate, I believe, has the completed Aghanim Scepter. Indeed, just delivered. He's just going to start soloing Ro16. Just goes in with the auto attacks. This guy is hitting every 0.38 seconds right now. That's like almost 3 attacks per second here as I try to do math in the wee hours of the morning. That's a lot of damage. Now the medallion also picked up on the Witch Doctor. Kind of late to the party. There you go. A little assist. They're not even taking the top tower, GoDz. This tower has a glyph of... actually, glyph was already used. Okay. Looks like they'll get the tower, but that's going to be it. Free Roshan elsewise for 1, 2, 3.
Classic Roshan for tier 1 top trade, and it always favors the team getting Roshan, I'll tell you that.
Especially at this stage of the game as well, where they're looking for objectives, it feels like.
Yeah. And they can start threatening... They haven't got the best high ground threatening lineup. They haven't actually got a carry. That's the one thing Underminer can say, well... If we get to late game, we've got Shadow Fiend is probably one of the better characters this game, and even Storm scales much better into the late game than I would say Lina or Quap do. Lina, very good in the late game because you've got the Refresher, Ags, Hex type stuff going on where you can insta-kill heroes, but Storm with a 4 or 5 big items just has a huge mana pool and can do a lot more than a Lina can. It's a lot more flexible and just mobile on the map.
How about the supports? Do you feel like there's a clear edge in the late game here for either team?
Big control edge going Underminer's way. Having Earthshake is amazing late game, not even just for the ultimate, but just for the constant lockdown on annoying heroes like Lina, Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain's Yule's combo just gets completely negated by good Earthshaker play.
A flurry of TPs as Underminer. Everybody just beaming themselves away. Oof. 3 heroes just like a half second from getting caught. But everyone will make it out.
I'd say both teams have good late game supports, but 1, 2, 3 aren't itemizing for late game. Witch Doctor not going for an Ags goes for the Mech, Arcane's Medallion. Heroes like Wyvern, though, you get 4 points in Cold Embrace, and in the late game, that is an insane spell to have when heroes start getting stacked and farmed.
Yamate. Bakri. He'll have none of it. Just instantly zips away.
He one-shot anyone? Earthshaker 948 HP. Uh-oh, you gotta buy a branch, dude.
No, he can one-shot Storm. Storm's got 870 when he's on the
God. You gotta go
I'm not sure if Yamate's noticed that just yet. Or he was in range there for a straight Laguna.
You gotta get those strength creds on. I don't know. Surprised to see him go for the Orchid over the Bloodstone. I feel like the Bloodstone he needs the HP more than anything because he's the one engaging. If he ever gets caught out by a lift or a core when he engages, it's the end for him. So
even the Quap ult is already just a huge chunk of his HP pool.
By the time he gets it, BKBs are up on the 1, 2, 3 side. BKB already on Queen of Pain. Lina's working on it. Is just about 1,000 gold away. Axe has a BKB, so This seems like a really bad Orchid timing, so it just felt like an item you just don't go for. Go for the Bloodstone and then go for the late game Hex.
And again, the vision. The vision is, with the Orchid, you want to find those kills, but they just see everything. 1, 2, 3. I mean, I'm finally Underminer begin to D-ward here, although they missed the top lane, but they have committed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sentry wards just to get rid of, I think it was only one observer they found. They didn't find this ward in the mid lane. They only got the hill ward bottom, as far as I can tell.
This is we want to make sure you have no wards on our side of the map when you're like putting sentries where they have right now. Like every possible aggressive ward spot has been sentried.
They've got money to play around with here, though. And the gem as well. Minerva's picked one up. Going with the Glimmer Cape, so they can now negate some more of this magic damage. The supports are just getting way more on the side of 1, 2, 3. Almost. What are their supports? The Witch Doctor nearly... Well, closing in on the combined net worth of the Wyvern Shaker. Though he's not quite there just yet. 1, 2, 3. Moving now down into the river. They still have that map control and the Aegis on Ben. Do you see them going high ground, GoDz, or is this just a farming Aegis?
It's so hard to go high ground with their lineup. Like, they're not having the physical damage there. In a pretty comfortable position without taking a Rax, but at the same time, it's like a good way to lose a fight and then have to worry about the potential comeback from Underminer. If you go for that high ground push, you get caught by a bat. The Winter's Curse is the big problem spell more than anything, where if a couple heroes get caught in that, it just sets up the combo with a Fissure, Supernova, SF Reckham on top. So
also, something Minerva maybe looks to steal in these fights. It is worth pointing out then.
Yeah. Here's Yamate's BKB. So they've got the triple BKB on their core, and I think that will at least be them chipping away and trying to get this tier 3 tower at bottom while they've still got about 1 minute left on Aegis.
Lena BKB now officially in tow, and they'll go. Ben still holding the Aegis now. He's 9-2-1. He's had a hell of a game on the safe lane Quap. Yamate 8-1-1. Both of these cores hardly dying yet. 3 deaths at 34 minutes between the two of them. And they're looking for the setup here. Blink forward. Silence on the boys. And while he glimmers to try and run away, mech'd up, kept alive. They turn this against Ben, but he's still the Aegis carrier. Almost wants to die here. That Aegis proc, but he'll blink out.
Okay.
Seems they may heal him up. Tower has taken a lot of damage. Ben will blink out once more.
That was pretty... I like that 1, 2, 3 went in there, because once Phoenix uses Fire Spirits, it's really hard for him to go in for a Supernova. Without the Fire Spirits, your egg is almost guaranteed to be killed off if you go in. So
that's a good point.
I think it was like, he just used Fire Spirits, let's engage. There's no way they can use Supernova. It's basically the ultimate's taken out until Fire Spirits come back up, which is about like 15, 20 seconds between the end of the duration and the next spirit. So it's like, hey, we've got a 10-second window. Let's get in, try find some kills. They didn't get the kill on Wyvern, but it was very safe and just calculated play from 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and of course, Lena has crazy physical damage and attack speed. As they jump in onto Cloud. He never got off the BKB here, and he's already taken a lot of damage, but the egg comes through. The Fire Spirits are there. What's hardly auto-tagging during this time is Bakri engages from the north. He'll find 3-4-3. The egg doesn't end up going off, though. Lena just BKB'd and destroyed it. Basically, one-woman army. FCFC dunked, and now the buybacks start coming out. Shadow Fiend as well as the Phoenix both committing to hold this one. Only the Witch Doctor's even fallen. Yamate glimmered and retreating. What will make it out? The Storm Ball's in even deeper, but he gets cursed and turned on. Minerva stole it, and Bakri's gonna pay the ultimate price. Oh, the plays. And what a devastating takedown there. Your Storm Spirit, he dies. Shadow Fiend forced to buy back. Very expensive hold, GoDz.
Yeah. That's kind of what it's kind of like a necessary outcome for Underminer, where it's like, well, we can hold our high ground, but it's going to cost us and cost us dearly. The SF gets blown up by the Laguna Blade even during BKB. They had buyback, so they were never really going to lose their racks, but at this point it's just you fall so far behind when you've got to use 2 buybacks, lose the Storm Spirit as well. They lost both their big carries, one of them buying back, the Phoenix buying back as well. Just huge money victory going 1, 2, 3's way, and yeah, they don't get a lane of racks. They're going to have to wait for the next Aegis probably to have another go at that, but they're in such a good position financially.
Now there's a gem on boys now, so something for Underminer here, as he did buy one.
It's just one of those games where it feels like 1, 2, 3 have to get like a 25, 30k gold lead to win the game, but you feel like they're going to get there just fine, just because of how well they're playing right now.
I mean, look at the graph. It's been going one direction here the entire way. They're like, it's like the tiniest little pip up. You know, they peaked a little 1,000 gold swing about 20 minutes ago, but that is really searching for positivity. Underminer very much forced back in their side of the map here. You you're just not seeing the aggression from the Storm, the Shadow Fiend. They're very defensive, passive play, and like you said, just it might take a while, but 1-2-3 is getting there. 2,300 gold now up on your Lina. A Hex completed on the Queen of Pain. Still room to move into that next item, be it some sort of damage item or even a refresher. Ben, not even 6-slotted yet, but definitely getting there.
Yeah. This Storm's going to be even sadder. Last fight, the one kill they got was on the Witch Doctor by Storm just throwing everything, including the Orchid. And now with Greaves, Witch Doctor just gets rid of the Orchid and puts on the heal, and he's fine. So I feel like the Storm's ability to get anything done this fight is going to be heavily negated just by this pickup. So the way 1-2-3 supports of Itemize, while slightly unconventional, we don't see any Blink on Rubik, any Ag Scepter build up for Witch Doctor. It's going to work out really well for them as far as preventing Storm from getting any kills and any momentum.
They still have the Stolen Winter's Curse as well. About, I'd say, 90 seconds, maybe a bit less still on this one.
Oh, man.
And
Earthshaker really wants a Blink. FC is just...
this is poverty Earthshaker.
There we go.
There, he's got it. He's fissuring the...
Wyvern helps him out.
They're 4-man ratting the map, just kind of sneaking through the trees just to get that Shaker Blink. Still only a level 1 Echo, though, GoDz, at 38 minutes. FC getting punished by his old friend Yamate. They're going to move up, start hitting the tower. Glyph is available, quickly used.
They weren't really in position here, so this is just going to be a tier 3 tower and a Glyph for
free.
nothing.
And still that curse at the ready. Minerva hanging on it. Storm jumps in. He's got to be very careful about his timing. Cloud does have a double damager, and that may scare Yamate back.
This is really bad because...
But look at the damage. Yamate just continues to go, and they get off the Blink call. Glimmering Cloud to try and keep him alive. The turn comes, though, as MCFC will engage and try to unload that Echo Slam. Not enough damage, though. Death Ward coming out. Someone cancel this thing. 3-4-3 doing a lot here. Cloud, the man, he's focusing, though. And Cloud's got a lot of armor, so he tanks it all. He'll survive. But Yamate now with the re-engage. Stun coming out. There's the Slave. Instantly blows up 2 heroes. Massive nuke damage. 3 dead. Buybacks don't appear to be forthcoming for now. The Radiant Squad only one on Storm, and he's already alive. So they will be fighting this 2v4 with 1 lane of racks down. Looks like that'll be it. 1-2-3. Not going to get 2 just yet.
Yeah, it's rough for Undermine. The big problem there was they just weren't in position. Normally, like, yeah, your tier 3 tower's already low, but you want to trade... Anytime 1-2-3 is hitting your tower, you could be throwing spells at them and chipping away. That's kind of how you deal with those Aegis pushes, where it's like, throw a Fissure plus a Splinter Blast from a Wyvern, throw a Sunray. Just chip away at them so that when you finally do have that big fight engagement with the Blink Echo, they're already low. They're already down to 2/3 HP, even to 3/4 HP. By the time they went in, they were forced to defend their racks, and everyone on 1-2-3 hadn't been chipped away at it all. So not being in position, having 4 heroes top really cost them there. I feel like it just made it impossible to even stand a chance of keeping the racks alive. And well, next time 1-2-3 push, it's going to be with an Aegis and probably looking to do the same thing in top or mid lane now.
Fissure onto what? CFC just stalling these lanes out. But conveniently, Ro16 is about to respawn. This is the maximum respawn timer, but oh GoDz, do Underminer even consider a contest here, or do they just have to turtle up and kind of cower inside the base? Waiting for that potential death push.
Deep Dire wards just kind of prevent it. They'll spot any movement out, and if they don't see any heroes on the map, it's like, well, there's a 5-man smoke coming our way. Let's just position.
You know, I think they also may have lost their gem in that last fight. Let's see. Where is it?
It's on the Rubik still. For the Dire side, you mean?
Oh, for the Radiant.
Do they have a gem?
They had a gem on the Wyvern. I'm not sure. Did they just forget about it?
There's a gem at the Dire base, so it looks like they lost it.
All right, so they even lost the gem. Not that it matters much if 1-2-3 are running down mid, but it could be where the Glimmer Cape is a little more irritating in these upcoming fights.
There is double Hex on 1-2-3 as well, and I don't think it's 9 that necessarily it's going to matter, but it sure as hell will cause problems for them. Someone like Shadow Fiend can now be locked down before he gets a chance to BKB.
He hasn't been getting off his BKBs, and there's the blink forward. Ben is going to Hex him. A lot of heroes waiting behind this, though. They'll counter-initiate what with the Shivas, preventing FCFC from really getting into the fight. They'll isolate the Earthshaker, looking to bring him down quickly. BKB on what? And Yamate in the middle of the entire fight being focused down, but not enough damage. Now the Orchid onto Bakra. He'll try to keep himself alive with the Yule Scepter. Death Wards to go, and they get up the call. It's on 2. Heavy damage. Cloud. Well, the dunk not going to miss. That one rims out, but we'll see if it even matters. 3 down.
FC.
3 down. And more. FCFC.
That's a
he
we
tries
lost
for the Echo. No good. GG. Team Yamate, the stack, off to a strong start here as 1, 2, 3 slapped down by Malaysian brothers to open up the series.
It took them a while, but there was never really any doubts, and I'm sure for the 1, 2, 3 fans are there like, okay, we're in cruise control, just objective to objective. It was kind of slow and took a while just because of the nature of their draft, but they were so good at just controlling the map. Their ward placing was absolutely on point, and there was never any room for more than one hero to maybe get farmed for Undermine. In this case, it was mostly the Shadow Fiend, but one hero couldn't do it all.
Well, GoDz, that does wrap up game 1 here. Do you feel like the teams are matched up pretty evenly in skill? Do you pin this on draft, or are you a little nervous if you're an Underminer fan and just feeling like they're totally outgunned in terms of individual ability?
I think draft-wise, it actually wasn't that one-sided. As much as I didn't like the last pick for Underminer, I feel like going for this no physical damage, really bad at pushing draft was also a bit shaky for 1, 2, 3 because it takes you get an advantage and you can't end the game. So you give your opponent so many rooms to make plays or for your own team to make a screw up that it's really hard to win a game where you're playing for 40 minutes and one mistake can suddenly see a comeback. So I think this game, the drafts at least were somewhat comparable, but outplays for sure. You've got Yamate at mid lane solo killing the enemy mid when there's an Earthshaker there.
There were 3 there. The Phoenix was also coming.
Yeah, so to me, absolutely, I think 1, 2, 3 is the stronger team here. So it should be a 2-0, but Underminer could surprise.
All right, well, Undertaker Yamate is coming for Underminer. Let's see if they can bounce back, folks. It is a best-of-3 elimination match here in the BTS series. SEA Cup number 1. There'll be 5 more of them over the next year if all goes well. So thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll be back momentarily with game number 2.